Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today we are taking a trip to a really amazing city. The most amazing city, really.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. And that city is your body. We're not talking buildings and streets, though. We're going deeper.
Deeper.
Way deeper. To the systems that power everything you do. It's like exploring, I don't know, like the energy grid of a busy, bustling city.
But on a microscopic level?
Exactly.
I love that analogy.
Right. And you know what's crazy?
Like,
The energy your body uses every single day could power, get this, a 100-watt light bulb for 24 hours.
wow, that's pretty illuminating. So where do we even begin with this deep dive?
Well, our sources describe our stomachs like a receiving dock
Oh,
for all kinds of fuel deliveries.
I like that. I can really visualize that.
Yeah, like shipments of carbs, fats, proteins all coming in.
Each playing a role, right?
Oh, absolutely. Each one crucial to keeping, our city powered up.
It's like we have these different types of deliveries, right? You got your carbs. Those are like the express delivery trucks.
Yeah.
Bringing in glucose, that's the fast energy we need for like right now,
Yeah.
immediately. It's like the electricity for, the traffic lights, keeps the internet running.
Oh, and then we've got fats.
Fats.
Those are the big rigs.
Yeah.
Loaded up like massive energy storage tanks. Right?
Yeah, on the outskirts of town.
On the outskirts.
Just in case, right.
Just in case those quick glucose deliveries,
We're low.
run low.
Yeah, exactly. Like a backup generator.
Backup power. Brilliant. And then we have proteins.
Proteins. They're less about direct energy. It's more like the construction crews.
Oh, yeah?
Always working. Building, repairing the city's infrastructure.
Muscles, organs,
Everything.
even tiny little things inside our cells.
Proteins are like the building blocks, right?
So we've got all this fuel coming in, but it's got to get around the city, right?
Right. It's not like those trucks just park at the stomach and that's it. No. So imagine tiny red blood cells. They're like the delivery vans.
Oh, okay.
Zipping around this complex network like the highways and byways of our bloodstream.
Okay.
Carrying those fuel molecules, the glucose from carbs, fatty acids from fats, to every corner of our city.
Wow. Every single cell.
Every single one. And inside each cell,
Yeah.
we find the real heroes of the story.
Okay, who are they?
The mitochondria.
Mitochondria. Those are like the mini power plant.
Exactly. Humming away, converting that raw fuel into usable energy.
Like they're taking those deliveries, those fuel molecules and
Through these intricate steps, like an assembly line.
really assembly line. That's a cool way to think about it.
It is, right. Like the electron transport chain, the citric acid cycle, fancy names, really, for the different stations on the energy production line.
Wow. So much happening.
Yeah.
So what's the end product?
The result, well, it's something called ATP. You can think of ATP as the city's currency.
Currency.
It's the energy that powers everything. A single thought. Yeah.
A muscle contraction. It's the electricity that keeps our city running.
ATP. Got it. Essential. I'm guessing those power plants need something else to keep going, right? Like oxygen.
You got it. Those red blood cells, they're not just delivering fuel.
Oh, right.
They're also bringing in oxygen. And
Yep.
that is absolutely crucial for this whole energy conversion process.
It's like incredibly efficient. Everything's connected.
Yeah.
But what about the brain? Where does that fit in? It's not like lifting weights or anything.
The brain.
Yeah.
The control center of our city.
Yeah.
What's fascinating is that it only makes up about 2% of our body weight,
Okay.
but it consumes 20% of our daily energy.
Whoa. That's a lot of power for something so small.
It is.
So like all those late night study sessions or big brainstorming meetings, they're actually draining our energy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even when you're just sitting still, if your brain is working hard, it's like having all the lights in the city blazing, the subway running at full
Yeah.
speed.
All that activity requires a ton of energy, especially glucose.
So it's like a marathon for the brain.
That's a great way to put it. And that's why, after a long day of mental work, you might feel totally drained even if you haven't moved much.
Yeah, makes sense. It's like my brain is Times Square on New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah.
Just bright lights, constant activity.
Yeah.
But we can't just focus on the brain, right?
Yeah.
Our sources also talk about other potential energy drainers in the city.
Right. Things that kind of disrupt the smooth flow of power.
Yeah, like those disrupt the smooth flow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a city can experience blackouts, or brownouts.
Yeah.
Our bodies, we can face those energy challenges too.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times these issues come from how we're fueling our city, how much downtime we allow for repairs, and how well we manage those stress levels.
Yeah.
It all plays a part.
Yeah, all plays a part.
Yeah. Think about it. If you're constantly fueling your city with like Junk food, sugary drinks.
Yeah.
It's like trying to power these high-tech systems with these like outdated generators and dirty fuel.
Yeah.
You might get that temporary surge, right?
God.
But then crash.
You crash hard.
And in the long run, it's damaging the whole system.
It's like those energy drinks, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Promise you a quick boost, but
Yeah.
you feel worse later.
Oh, absolutely. But we can't just blame it all on what we eat, right?
What else drains those reserves?
Well, think about what happens when a city doesn't get enough downtime, to repair, for maintenance.
Yeah.
Potholes start popping up, the garbage piles up.
Right.
Eventually, the whole system starts breaking down.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same with our bodies. If we're not getting enough good sleep, it's like neglecting those essential, like, nighttime repairs.
Those overnight construction crews, right?
Exactly.
They're working all night, keeping the city running while everybody's asleep.
Yeah.
If they don't get a break, the city falls apart.
Precisely. During sleep, our bodies are busy, repairing tissues, clearing out waste products, replenishing those energy reserves. It's like hitting like the reset button, allowing our city to wake up refreshed and ready for a new day.
It's not just about the quantity of sleep, though, right? It's got to be good quality.
Oh, absolutely. Quality matters. Big time.
So not just clocking in 8 hours.
Yep.
It's got to be truly restful and restorative.
Exactly.
Okay. But even with good fuel, plenty of downtime, our city, our bodies, can still face these energy challenges.
Absolutely. Imagine like a city under siege.
Yeah.
Sirens blaring, resources stretched thin. That's what chronic stress does to our bodies.
Like a constant state of emergency.
Yeah.
All hands on deck, adrenaline pumping, everything's on high alert.
Exactly. Stress hormones are designed to help us deal with those short-term threats.
Right.
But when they're constantly elevated, it's like having the city's emergency generators running nonstop. They drain our energy reserves, they interfere with sleep, and they make it harder for our bodies to use fuel efficiently.
Wow. This city analogy really brings it home. But, okay, now that we've seen this power grid, we understand some of the potential drainers. How do we become more mindful of our energy use? How do we manage it better?
Well, just like a city planner, right, who carefully allocates resources,
Yeah.
we need to be intentional about how we're spending our mental energy. You can't just run around like a headless chicken all day and expect to have a full battery at the end.
Oh, I've definitely been there, trying to do a million things at once, thinking I'm being so productive.
Yeah.
And I just end up feeling scattered and exhausted. Is that what you mean?
That's exactly what I mean. That's multitasking. And while it feels like we're getting more done juggling all these tasks, it actually makes us less efficient and more mentally fatigued. Our brains aren't wired to focus on multiple things at once.
It's like trying to conduct an orchestra, cook a gourmet meal, and build a skyscraper all at the same time. Chaos.
Yeah.
It makes so much more sense to, like, focus on one thing at a time. Give it your full attention.
You got it. Single tasking is the key to maximizing that mental energy. It lets our brains fully engage, leads to better focus, higher quality work, and less mental drain.
So less is more when it comes to mental energy.
Absolutely. But there's another energy drainer we haven't touched on yet.
Okay, what's that?
Information overload. Think of it as like Times Square, but on steroids.
Okay.
Billboards flashing, news tickers scrolling, music blaring. Overwhelming, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, our brains are just constantly bombarded. Emails, social media, news alerts. Even if it's just background noise, it's still taking a toll.
It is. You're exactly right. All that information processing, even if it seems passive, requires energy.
Yeah.
It's like the city's communication network is in a constant state of overload. And if we're not careful, that can lead to mental exhaustion, decreased focus, even anxiety.
So how do we manage that? Do we all just, like, move to a deserted island and ditch our phones?
No, it doesn't have to be that drastic. It's about being mindful, right?
Yeah.
Setting boundaries, taking breaks from screens, consciously disconnecting,
Yeah.
crucial for protecting our mental energy.
So, like, creating quiet zones in the city.
Exactly. Places where we can escape and recharge. And speaking of recharging, let's talk about one of my favorite topics, strategic rest.
Strategic rest.
Mm-hmm.
I like the sound of that. Tell me more.
Just as a city needs parks, green spaces for people to relax, rejuvenate, right?
Yeah.
Our brains need breaks throughout the day. We can't expect them to operate at peak performance without a chance to rest and recover.
It's like giving those hardworking neurons a chance to stretch their legs, enjoy the scenery.
Exactly. So what does strategic rest actually look like? Well, it can be as simple as taking a few minutes to step away from your work, taking a few deep breaths, even gazing out the window. Even those short breaks can make a world of difference in refreshing your mental energy and improving your focus.
Okay, I'm with you. So we've talked about fueling our bodies,
Right.
right? Managing that information overload, taking breaks.
Hmm.
But it feels like we're missing something in this energy equation.
You're right. We focus so much on the physical and mental, but there's another dimension that's just as important:
Okay, what's that?
our emotional energy.
It's true. Emotions can really mess with your energy levels. Like when I'm excited about a project, I can work for hours and not even feel tired.
Right.
But if I'm stressed or anxious,
Hmm.
even the smallest things feel draining.
That's exactly it. Think of it this way. When we're feeling those positive emotions,
Hmm.
joy, excitement, inspiration, it's like our city is buzzing.
Yeah.
But in a good way, there's this sense of vibrancy, flow.
Yeah.
But when we're feeling down, stressed, overwhelmed, it's like a dark cloud has just settled over the city,
Oh, yeah.
draining the energy, dimming the
It's
lights.
like the difference between a street festival and a traffic jam.
Perfect analogy. One energizes you, the other just leaves you feeling depleted.
Totally.
So in addition to all those practical things we talked about, we've got to cultivate those positive emotions, nurture our well-being.
It's not just about fueling our bodies and minds.
Yeah.
It's like fueling our spirits, too.
Exactly. Doing things that bring us joy, spending time with people we love, practicing gratitude, pursuing our passions. Those are powerful ways to boost our emotional energy and make that inner city more vibrant.
It's like investing in the cultural, recreational side of things,
Yeah.
creating spaces for art, music, laughter, connection.
It's about making that inner city a place where we actually want to live and thrive.
I love that.
So, as you go about your day, pay attention to how your emotions are affecting your energy and make a real effort to cultivate those positive emotions that fuel your spirit. Illuminate that inner city.
This has been amazing. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on energy and how to have a more, I don't know, sustainable and fulfilling life.
I'm glad to hear that. And remember, it's not about being perfectly energized all the time. It's about understanding those ebbs and flows and making choices that support your well-being.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the fascinating world of energy. We hope you've enjoyed exploring your incredible inner city and learned some valuable insights about keeping those lights burning bright.
Until next time, may your inner city be filled with light, energy, and endless possibilities.
And as always, thank you for joining us on the deep dive.